The following is a Joel Michalec production. The following episode of the Joel Michalec Show takes place between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Joel Michalec Show, featuring the lovely Sharen. And across on the table from me, keeping a safe distance, corona distance, is the lovely Sharen. No, don't touch my hand. Is the lovely Sharen.
Oh, no, you have to...
I'm just kidding.
You can't... Let
me touchy.
No, don't touch.
Welcome to the program. Say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
There you go.
And there you go.
She's like my puppet. Anyway, welcome to the program. Let me get the business end of this out of the way. You can find us online at www.jmtalk.net. And from there, you can subscribe to the show. And why wouldn't you want to? Check out the news feed.
I want to.
The 24/7 stream is there. Sharon was just telling us that we have a new listener, so they could subscribe and listen, or they could listen off the website. Although, I would prefer you subscribe. And then if you like it, share it. If you like it, write us a review on any of the platforms we're on. We're on iHeart and iTunes, and I know you care and everything else. So also on Facebook at JM Talk, and Twitter and Instagram is JM Talk Radio. We were off last week because there was so much stuff going on.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I almost lost because I usually can spew that right out. Mm-hmm. I think I got it, but I got stuck a little bit. So that's the various ways you can get a hold of the show. Also, drop us an email at joelmichalecradio@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So we have a lot of stuff to cover. We were off last week. And so if one or two things that we talk about seem timely, like that's kind of a little older, it's okay. The basic thing is I think a lot of the content today, whenever you're listening, we think is going to be related to the coronavirus that's going on.
Or the Kung Flu.
Because that's the only thing going on, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So at this point, we are starting the recording on the 13th, Friday the 13th.
I know.
Can you imagine?
I love Friday the 13th.
Do you know Jason Voorhees is really upset today?
Why?
Because it's Friday the 13th. It's his day. And there's a virus that's deadlier than he is out there.
Wow.
So he's getting no love today.
None.
Gotta get some sound effects. Anyway, but no, seriously, folks, I will say this, though. It has been announced in the news today that due to all the panic buying that's going on, Walmart's going to open a second register.
Yay! Honey, can we go to Walmart?
I'm afraid to go to Walmart.
I know, right?
I've been hearing stories from people close to our circle for 2 days now. Like, we've been seeing pictures and going, no, this is BS. Now I'm hearing from people at work and whatnot. Yeah. You know, even like someone went to the dollar store today and they said it was a circus. But then again, the dollar store is always a circus.
Yeah.
Kill me. So,
anyway. He did it, everybody. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I have to put this on the internet.
But this is a serious thing, okay? Obviously, it's a disease, and depending, it's... I read this thing from The Atlantic, which discussed why it's serious. Like, at this point, we're recording on Friday the 13th, and a lot of services are down.
Yeah,
NBA has suspended the rest of the season.
Yes.
The NHL has suspended their season. Major League Soccer has suspended their season. Major League Baseball will not be starting their season. The women's basketball has halted. Originally, the NCAA were going to play in empty arenas, and now they've decided to just halt all their playing. There are 5 teams, NBA teams, that are on quarantine in their locker rooms.
Wow.
So, there's a lot of things going on. We just found out, like, over the last 2 days, the courts here in Delaware, no trial juries until May. Pennsylvania, all K-12 schools ordered shut down immediately for 2 weeks. 1.7 million students in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania did say that they will make sure that there's no penalty for not getting 180 days in. Delmarva, we just learned before coming to air, Delmarva is they're waiving late fees and suspending all disruption orders during this process. So, people say, listen, the flu's deadlier. Why isn't this like this? And there's a lot of people, medical people on Facebook. I know, don't get your news from Facebook, but there are a lot of people posting, medical people saying this, that. It's all hype. And, you and I talked about this, Sharen, and a couple of nights ago, we were saying this is all hype. But then, that, what was it, 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago, whenever we found out, at 11 o'clock, we were I said, did you hear the news about the NBA? And then it was cascading from there.
Right.
And you almost, all of a sudden, I'm WTF?
Right, exactly. You want my opinion?
Yes, go ahead, and then I'll finish up with mine.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I want to hear your opinion.
Okay.
Your turn to interject.
Okay.
This is our show.
Yes, it is. My personal opinion is that this is all a bunch of happy horse shit.
I don't know about that.
Well, I'm not saying the virus is a bunch of happy horse poopy. Sorry for the curse word. But the reactions, I think, might be slightly overrated.
Well, part of the reason that the article in the Atlantic explains it is because the countries that were first infected, you figure China, and then it was South Korea, Italy, France will be next, probably having a real major problem, but they were, as soon as it started happening, they were ahead of it, they were putting things in place, they were testing. And the big problem here is, as big as we are, we have 240 million people in this country, we weren't taking those steps. And so if we were sitting here kind of okay, waiting to see what happens, which a lot of times we do.
Yeah.
If we're waiting to see what happens, they're saying that there could be 2 to 3 more people for every one person we know that is sick. So it's the exponential rate on how fast this swept through countries that were testing and trying to control it and couldn't. Right. And here we are going, now we're focusing on it. And so the phrase is social distancing. That's the phrase that we're talking about. Social distancing. That's why sports venues are closing. Oh, by the way, Broadway canceled all their productions until further notice.
Wow.
They're just, it's this, let's not get together in what they call the community passing of, the possibility of community passing of the virus.
Okay.
Because if someone coughs, they can get the droplets. I mean, think about it. We used to live in a world where we coughed to cover a fart. Now we're farting to cover our coughs. So no one thinks we're coughing.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so, all right. So I do understand that, when you do hear someone cough, you're immediately looking around to see how far away they are from you.
Right.
And I get it. I do. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not looking at this correctly. In other words, maybe I'm just not realizing the extent of this virus.
Right. But at the same time, I think as long as you have to remember the prevention for this is the same as the flu. Wash your hands often, don't touch your face.
Right.
And avoid people that do have symptoms of sickness. So you go the next step, okay, while we're still in a serious portion of the show. And they are recommending that if you're, sometimes you go to work because you have a cold. You're like, oh, I got to go to work.
Yeah.
You have a cold.
Yeah.
They're saying don't. Like, one of the most important things right now is if you wake up and you even have a cold,
Right.
stay away from work. Do not go to work.
Okay.
You have to stay away from community. That's the big thing. Because this could be as big. It could be as big when you look at the perspective of it.
Yeah.
As the 1918 flu. So I'll give you two examples in history. Okay? Philadelphia and St. Louis during the 1918 flu.
Okay.
Okay, the mayor of Philadelphia decided that he was still going to hold this big parade, even though they were trying to warn people don't have it. 200,000 people marched down the streets in Philadelphia. Okay?
Wow.
Philadelphia had like 22,000 people died from the flu.
Because as a result from
one could say that. Let me give you the
down
comparison.
Okay.
St. Louis, the mayor of St. Louis at the time, shut everything down. All events, all buildings, he shut everything down. And they had like 600 and some cases of the flu, or 6,000. It was exponentially less then.
Right.
Tale of two cities, that's all. So.
Okay, I mean, I am not so close-minded as to, realize that my thinking might be flawed.
It's not flawed.
I feel that it might be. I feel that it might be because
the security
trying to
system's
find a
right
place to put my foot, and it seems to keep landing on Molly.
Yeah. Molly inserted herself there, so
yeah.
So
So I don't know. I'm just thinking that maybe I should.
wash your hands.
Well, yeah, wash my hands. And at what point does using so much sanitizer, does the virus then become resilient to it?
Well, remember, they recommend hand washing more than sanitize.
Right.
Sanitize in emergencies. And your sanitizer should be 60% of alcohol content,
Right.
which is funny because we have this Germ X product at
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
And I looked at it today because if you have what's the square one that everybody gets? I forget. It's like a squarey one. I forget who makes it, but that's the one you see everywhere. And that's got like 70%. I'm like, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
But then we have this bottle of Germ X, and I went and I put some on today, and I flipped it around to see, and the alcohol content was like 63%. I'm like, wow, let's do the bare minimum and then a little bit. I mean, 63? You couldn't do 65,
Wow.
maybe just go all the way up to 70.
Right.
But you can also make your own sanitizer. Okay?
Yeah.
2/3 cups of ethyl alcohol. Okay. 1/3 cup aloe gel. And then
Okay.
put a couple drops of whatever essential oil you want in there. Mix it up with a spoon, and then you put it into a bottle with a squeezy thing.
Okay.
That's how
yeah,
you make.
I
So
mean,
that's how you make your own
I know, but
hand sanitizer.
okay. So I am allergic to alcohol. So
So then wash
How-
your hands twice as much.
right. So that's my thinking. Is I mean, at work, you have a bottle of the non-alcohol hand sanitizer on your desk.
Okay.
I'm wondering how to what degree is it effective?
I would think it's not, because if it doesn't have the alcohol in it, how does it protect?
Right.
That's the question. And,
Yeah.
and then, of course, what does the CDC think about that?
Right.
That's the whole thing.
So,
But
do you have that on your desk
I guess
in
I do.
case I do come over?
Right, but what you have to
because I do visit your work.
what you need to do is make sure you wash your hands more often than because you can.
Right.
And don't touch your face, because like when you fall asleep in your chair, no lie,
Hand is all over my
your
face.
hands
I
are
know.
all over your face like you're a blind person trying to see what you look like. I mean, you're asleep and it's like you're like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna poke her eyeballs out. That's why I'm always concerned, and that's why I'm always waking you up.
Wow.
I'm like, what do you do? What do you do with your hands? You're like, I'm fixing my hair.
Right.
So
Right.
You just have to wash your hands more because that's the important thing. Just treat it like this. Like
and
I'm always washing my hands. And I try not
hands.
to touch my face either. But, have you ever noticed, too, how itchy your face is when they tell you not to touch it?
I know, right?
All of a sudden, you just want to get like a back scratcher and rake your eyeballs out of your head because your eyes are itching. Anyway, folks, it is serious. It doesn't hurt just to take the precautions that they're saying. And there are two, the school of thought on all these closings are 50-50. It's really not leaning either way. I'm seeing it right down the middle, split right down the middle, the public opinion on what's going on with that part of it. So, I guess we just like taking this stride. But listen, seriously, all these people buying all this toilet paper, please buy condoms too, because if you're stuck in a house for 2 weeks, I don't want you breeding any more idiots.
What is up with all this toilet paper buying?
I don't know.
Like, for real, are you expected to have the Hershey squirts?
And I don't understand that because this is an upper respiratory thing.
Right.
Has nothing to do with diarrhea. But
Hershey squirts.
But people are buying toilet paper like it's going out of style.
I just don't get it.
And I'm just saying...
Like a neutered dog, I just don't get it.
I'm just saying the people that are mathematically buying more toilet paper than they would need over the next, say, 2 to 8 weeks... I just want them to make sure they buy all the condoms, too. Because if they do, listen, let's say they would go into martial law and we're all stuck in our houses. I don't want these people breeding idiots. You know what I mean? So please buy the condoms, too, and wear them.
Oh, my goodness.
On your Jolly Roger, not on your fingers and ears and everything else.
Oh, my God.
So.
This show is just taking a severe drop.
No.
It has gone downhill right quick.
I think it's heightened up. So anyway, so now that's the serious. That was the serious part, but that was the most serious part. Just about what's going on. There's a lot of things going on with this.
Oh yeah.
And then there's some idiocy which we're going to get into during the show. I think I have to check again. The wombat of the week might even be coronavirus related.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's practically a coronavirus-type show. And the funny thing with that is 2 weeks ago when we dropped our podcast, I think the title of it was, I'll take a Corona with Lime or something like that.
Yeah.
I forget what the title was, but it's something like that. And I was like, because we mentioned one or two things. Now, in that time span, in the span of 2 weeks, we're going to flood this show with a lot of coronavirus stuff.
Yep.
But... aside from this serious point, now we still want to also make it fun because we concentrate on making this show as fun as possible.
Right.
And we are still going to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
There's some serious issues here. Yes. We're still going to have some fun.
Yeah.
And like any other subject matter, because apparently nothing's off the table, we have idiocy as it pertains to the coronavirus. So we're going to see that tonight tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're listening.
Yes.
To the show. I'm trying to see the time. I think we're going to, I think we'll call it. So we're going to come up here on our first break. And then when we come back, we are going to get into the middle part.
Yeah.
The rest of the show, the middle part. I don't know if you're going to hold up to your thing where you're supposed to stay for the wombat. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway, so get yourself a drink and come on back here, and we'll tell you about some things that maybe you did or didn't even know about.
Okay.
All right, coming up after this, we'll be right back.
All right.
This is New York's Super Oldie Station, 920 WON, The Apple, Brooklyn, New York.
So I use my computer every day. I'm not even sure how I get along without it. But I wasn't prepared for a virus. A Trojan, they called it. One night I'm cruising along, and the next night I can't do anything. I was afraid it was going to cost me a fortune. Boy, was I surprised. They had me back up and running the same day I called them. I really like PC Tech Rescue, and you know what? My wallet likes them too.
Are you troubled by computer problems? PC Tech Rescue should be your very next call. Whether the problem is viruses, hardware, software, or any other issue, they can diagnose your problem and have you back up and running fast. With more than 25 years of industry experience, you can be sure you are getting dependable and affordable service. Call today, 484-429-6061. or email us at pctechrescue@gmail.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Joel Michalec Show featuring the lovely Sharen. Thanks for sticking with us. Remember, subscribe to the show, and we would kindly ask. I would not tell you to write a review, but if you do like the show after subscribing on your favorite service, do us a favor if you would, and write us a review. So we're back, and as we talked about earlier, there'll probably most likely be quite a bit of some coronavirus content in tonight's show, and we did get the serious stuff out of the way, and because we like to entertain people with some witty stuff, we will continue on that path. Now, this first thing I want to talk about might become witty, because Sharen and I like the cruise, but we'll see. Right now, the point I want to make is, if you haven't heard, the State Department is recommending, among other things, because as you know, travel to and from Europe has been cut off for 30 days.
Yeah.
The State Department is advising people that they don't cruise.
Right.
Now, what's interesting to that is that story came out last week, actually, when we didn't get to do a podcast.
Right.
Since then, the only cruise line we know of that's canceling cruises for like 2 weeks is Disney. Remember that Disney is closing Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Park, Disney Cruises.
Right.
Are all being closed.
Right.
Please keep your hands away from your face at all times.
Oh, my goodness, I have to.
But the State Department otherwise is advising that people don't cruise. And for obvious reasons, if you think about it, what was it, 2 different cruises affected by the coronavirus?
Yeah, well, there's thousands of people on the cruise ship.
Yeah, and the one that docked in California, you know, and they were quarantined. And,
I know of 2 people that are scheduled to go on cruises. One of the people, my English is real good. The one person chose to cancel his cruise, but the rest of the party is still going.
Right.
And the other person is choosing to continue on with his cruising plans, even though everyone else in his party canceled. So he's going by himself.
Right. And that'll remain to be seen. A client of mine and his wife are on a cruise right now, due back Sunday morning.
Oh, wow.
And I was actually just talking to them because I have a job pending with them.
Yeah.
And they want to know when that we can get together and finish that job up. And the thing is, they're hoping, I kind of made light of it. I was like, hopefully, praying that you don't get quarantined. They're actually hoping that, because that could be a real thing.
Oh, yeah,
they might
definitely
come back and have to stay somewhere quarantined for 2 weeks to make sure that they're not sick. So,
absolutely.
This isn't going as funny as I thought it would, folks, but,
it's this virus. I don't know how much funnies we could make of it.
I'll show you in a little bit.
It's a very serious thing.
It is.
However, some people just do really stupid things during a serious time.
Now, friends of ours are scheduled to go on a cruise in May, and they have no intentions of canceling it unless it's canceled by the cruise line. So it remains to be seen if Disney sets the tone and other cruise lines do that. But
honestly, I think if they were going to, they would have done it by now.
Yeah, because part of me is thinking that they're probably going, cha-ching, because they'll lower the price of cruises and capitalize on the people that aren't feeling sick. And then they'll all go on the cruise ship together, carrying the virus, get sick, it'll be the voyage of the damned all over again.
Okay.
See? I got it. I twisted it.
You got it. Oh, sorry, Molly.
I twisted it.
didn't mean to kick you, girl.
So. Oh, my. What are you doing to her? Leave her alone.
No.
She's chewing on a rawhide.
I know.
So, yes. So, there's that. Well, that took care of that. The State Department says you shouldn't travel on ships. Again, it's because it goes in theory with the mass gatherings, the community-sized gatherings of people.
Right. And you're on this ship where you're in close quarters with everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
So, the state,
yeah.
Basically, it boils down to the State Department's official statement at this time is that U.S. citizens, particularly travelers with underlying health conditions, should not travel by cruise ship. The CDC notes that older adults and travelers with underlying health issues should avoid situations that put them at increased risk for more severe disease. So that's their official statement. Make of that what you will. So, moving on. Now, I told you to give me a minute, and we'd get there. So we don't know what the thing with the toilet paper is. We don't.
Right.
Because you're not crapping yourself with this disease.
Right.
So I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Either.
Unless you're going to wrap your entire body in 16 layers of toilet paper so you're protected from the COVID-19. What are they calling it? COVID-19? I don't know, but here's the thing.
You know what I think it is? I think one person who, is buying toilet paper and masks and jokingly says, well, this coronavirus, you never know, I might need it. And it just took off like wildfire. So now everybody's got to have this toilet paper for this coronavirus that doesn't require toilet paper.
Right. And then so after this all blows over, you'll be seeing this stuff all over the Facebook marketplace. But anyway, so Haiti Janetsky of Toowoomba, Australia, she says that she typically orders 48 rolls of toilet paper for every 3 months for her family. However, after the family switched to a new online delivery service, she accidentally ordered 2,304 rolls of toilet paper.
Oh my God!
From a company called Who Gives a Crap.
Oh my!
I can't make this up, folks. I'm reading this right out of the news. According to Australian Broadcasting Company, Who Gives a Crap. Haiti says she accidentally clicked the option to order 48 boxes of the company's toilet paper, which comes in 48 rolls, and had no idea that she made the mega purchase until 2 pallets of toilet paper showed up at her door. Holy crap.
Right? So this is probably that one person I was speaking of that, started this mega ordering of toilet paper business.
So, if you're wondering, 12 years worth of toilet paper comes out to around $2,000. Now, being that it's 2,034 rolls, was it? Was it 203? Yeah, 2,300. So it's like
wow,
80-some cents or 90-some cents a roll. That's pretty expensive for paper that you're just going to, you're just pissing it away. You're going to
wipe your bum with it.
Yeah, you're wiping it away.
You're literally flushing it down the toilet.
But I don't know what the craze is. Like, everyone's out of toilet paper. You can't get it at any of the stores. And then there's baby wipes are sold out. Sanitizers going off the shelves.
Right.
There's actually somebody had posted a Facebook post from the marketplace. Of somebody selling 2 of those 2 bottles of the hand sanitizer, just the 2 medium size, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And they were wrapped tightly in plastic or whatever.
Right.
$100 for 2
What?
bottles. Like,
Come on.
yeah, that's the stuff that it irritates me. Like,
Wow.
people, and if you're one of them, listen, because I am talking right to you. People who try to capitalize by buying all this stuff off the shelves and then selling it, gouging
Right.
like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I wish them hot pokers in their eyeballs every 5 minutes in a 24-hour period.
Wow.
Because you
Karma,
represent,
baby, karma.
that represents the scum of the earth. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, it does. I agree. However, karma, baby, karma.
I'm just saying, if you want to capitalize and make money like this, then make ketchup and butter spaghetti sauce and sell it to the public. You know? Honey Boo Boo
Wow.
spaghetti sauce. Nobody would buy that
Right?
stuff, but so yes, I mean, this is a really crappy story about the toilet paper, and I feel bad for the family, but you know,
Yeah, but still, if you're gonna, well, I got nothing. I really tried.
yeah, I mean, that's 12 years. I mean, and as your children grow up, they could take some of it as parting gifts when they move out on
Oh
their
my
own.
God, right?
So it's not a complete loss. I mean, I
It'll
don't
get used.
yeah, I don't know that toilet paper biodegradable. Or they can send some of it to San Francisco where people are crapping in the streets.
Oh God.
Oh, you didn't know anything about that?
No.
You're so out of touch. Yeah. Well, San Francisco
Wow.
has a really big homeless problem, and the homeless people are just whipping their pants down and crapping in the streets and on the
What?
sidewalks. Yeah.
No, you're lying.
You look it up.
You're lying.
You
All
look
right,
it up.
I will. Here
These
I
are the
go.
kind of things that are going on out there.
Here we go.
So, yeah. So you look that up.
More
That's fine.
people.
While you're looking that up, I a little local story, which is not something we usually get to do, but this is a really good local story, and I wanted to make sure that I talked about it for a minute. So there was a veteran, Alistair Barker, who served in the Korean War, and he passed away. He's from here in Delaware, actually, I think Newcastle County. And he passed away. No family to speak of. He was all alone by himself. And so there was some concern that, because he was a veteran, that he would not be alone when he went to his final resting place.
Right.
And so, some support about this went out on Facebook and through Facebook channels and groups and different pages. And then the announcement of when he was going to be buried. So people really banded together. I think there was over 1,000 people attended his funeral.
Right.
He was given a police escort. Somebody
Wow.
picked up the bill for this, the bill for that, and the service was so huge that people were actually standing outside the funeral home,
Wow.
looking in the windows because they couldn't get in. So, just like it's just a really nice thing that I thought it was worthy of saying. We don't get to talk a lot
Absolutely.
about local stuff.
No, we don't.
I don't know if that's because we live in a
But-
boring state or what. But
Probably, but
so we were really happy to hear, Alistair Barker, he served the nation with honor, and we're just really happy for the hundreds and hundreds of people that showed up to take him home.
That's amazing.
He was put to rest right up here at the Veterans Cemetery, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
I mean, it was a work day for me. I couldn't have taken off for that, though I would have
Right.
liked to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Did you find something? Or no?
Yes,
What is
I
that? Is
did.
that a cartoon?
No. They're look, they're houses.
All right, well, they're not homeless shelters.
People are pooping more than ever on the streets of San Francisco.
I told you. Why don't you ever
Come
believe me?
on.
Why do you never believe
Oh
me?
my God,
You never believe me.
Because some of the stuff you say is unbelievable.
Well, my nieces thought I was BSing when I told them how Nickelback got their name. Oh, it's just Uncle Joel. He's funny that way. And then they looked it up and they were like, oh, damn, he's right. Yeah, don't mess.
Okay,
with the
so
Zohan.
San Francisco is one of the wealthiest cities in America with an annual household income that's nearly double the national median household income. As its wealth has increased, so has economically inequality. A chart reported incidence of human feces appears to illustrate that division.
Exactly.
Since 2011, San Francisco has gone from about 5,000 reported instances to more than 25,000 in 2018.
Yeah.
That is redonkulous. Come on.
That's where the lady from Australia should be sending all that extra toilet paper.
I know, right? One of America's wealthiest cities has a huge problem with public poop.
You never thought you'd hear those two words together, did you?
No, I certainly didn't. You know what it does, though? I have an awesome urge to go to San Francisco and take a public poop.
I don't.
Well,
I told you, you didn't believe me, and there it is. The proof is in the chocolate pudding.
Ew. There she squirts.
Well, hopefully not.
Right? Wow, that is insane.
See, so she closed her laptop. She said there was so much truth in that statement. What? I just can't. I'm not going to look up anything else.
I know.
That is it.
I know.
Wowzers.
So, yeah.
So, coming up, we have a really funny Wombat of the Week and another hero to honor.
Yep.
And hopefully time permits for one last thing, because we have a very funny, short one last thing.
Okay.
Hopefully will be a mini series of one last things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds intriguing.
Places you could retire to.
What?
Yeah. So, and this week will be the Deep South.
Oh, all right.
So that will hopefully be coming up, if time permits, as I always say. That could be a hashtag. Hashtag if time permits. Hashtag one last thing.
There you go.
Hashtag. Also, the video of the week this week on the website, we're tossing it up between our friend Catfish Cooley and his statements on the coronavirus, or Ginger Billy with his how a redneck prepares
Ginger Billy
for the coronavirus. So
oh my gosh!
It sounds like Ginger Billy might have just won the spot, the video spot.
Ginger Billy just won the spot
on the webpage at JM Talk. And that's just so keep an eye out for that too. It is a very good video, a very funny video.
It is very funny.
And so anyway, so we're gonna take another break. My glass is somehow empty. Somebody's been drinking all my tea.
Oh my gosh!
And
did you lock the front door?
When we come back, the third stretch of the show,
all
and
right.
more to come. And I better clear my throat. It's not the virus.
Are you sure?
Do you have to say goodbye, or are you staying? Have you decided?
I have to say goodbye because I have a meeting in the morning I must prepare for.
Okay. All right.
I do apologize.
All right. Well, say goodbye, Sharon.
Goodbye, Sharon.
All right, folks. I'll be back with one last thing, Wombat of the Week, and Honor Thy Heroes. Stay right there.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Broadcasting from a crummy little studio in Baltimore, Maryland. This is Reality One Radio.
You see why we need your donations?
Welcome back to the show, folks. It's the Joel Michalec Show featuring the lovely Sharen, and the lovely Sharen has left. She's actually making me some supper, so we've got to get through this last segment quick enough for me to eat my supper. after it's been a long couple of days. But welcome back. Thanks for hanging out. This is the third leg, the last leap. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's the third of the show, however we break that down. And during this portion of the show, we do a couple of things. One is the Wombat of the Week. And if you're new to the show, I will be explaining how you can take part in the Wombat of the Week and what it is. And then we'll also honor a couple of heroes this week, which is a little bit of a personal honor thy heroes, and that's okay. It is our show, so we can do with it what we want, really, and just in hopes that we still entertain you. And time should permit. We hope it does, because if time permits, at the end of the show, we always do one last thing. Hashtag one last thing. So that's that. So if you're a new listener to the show, or you just forgot or not sure what Wombat of the Week is, Wombat of the Week is our celebration, if you will, of stupid people doing stupid things and it winding up in the news. So how do you get to play along? Well, you can send your news story link to us of stupid people doing stupid things and send it to us at joelmichalecradio@gmail.com. You can also send the link to us over Facebook at JM Talk through a DM or PM or whatever they call that. So you can do it that way as well. And it will most likely get on the air at some point. Can't promise you when, because sometimes we're backed up on stories, but I think everything that's come through, we have put on the air at some point. So that's exactly what the Wombat of the Week is. And so what we want to talk to you about this week, searching the globe and getting the stories on Wombats of the Week, we try to get the best ones for you. And we want to talk about a woman who was blinded after having a painful tattoo go wrong. Oh, I'm sorry, did I mention it was a botched eyeball tattoo? Yes. A woman in Poland has gone blind in one eye and is losing sight in the other after an attempt to get her eyeballs tattooed black went wrong. Let me say that again. The attempt to get her eyeballs tattooed black went wrong. 25-year-old from Wrocław was reportedly inspired by a rap artist called Popek, who also had the whites of his eyes dyed black. So after undergoing the procedure, the woman complained of the pain in her eyes, although she was reassured by the tattoo artist that this was a normal reaction and that she should take painkillers until it was healed. I wasn't aware that getting your eyeballs tattooed was normal, but we'll come back to that. However, local reports claim that the artist, known as Piotr A., I don't know, he's from Warsaw, facing criminal charges for allegedly using body ink for tattooing skin that is not deemed safe for the eye. The claims had arrived after an investigation was launched, with the woman's lawyers stating, quote, "There is clear evidence that the tattoo artist did not know how to perform such a delicate procedure. And yet he decided to perform it, which led to this tragedy." So after losing complete sight in her right eye, the woman was told by doctors that the damage was irreparable and that she would soon lose sight in her left eye too. Speaking of local media, she said, "Unfortunately, for now, doctors do not give me much optimism for improvement. The damage is too deep and extensive, and I'm afraid I will be completely blind." So, first of all, look, I have tattoos. The lovely Sharen has tattoos. I can't imagine, and before seeing this story, I could never have imagined until this point, knowing that it was the thing to get your eyeballs tattooed. I'm not a fan of needles as it is, so the thought of somebody putting needles into my eyeballs to color them is disgusting. I mean, think about it. it is tragic for her. It's also very stupid that anybody would. I mean, we've seen weird things tattooed. We had a friend who had the phrase "fu" underneath his upper lip. We had somebody who had the "fu" was on his eyelids, so the F was on one, but underneath his lip. Remember, he had same guy, DJ. He had something underneath here. Going fishing was on his knuckles. But anyway, he had his upper lip on the inside tattooed, his eyelids tattooed. I couldn't sit through that. Are you kidding me? I couldn't sit through having my eyelids tattooed, let alone the eyeballs. So we've seen almost everything tattooed, but your eyeballs, that is the stupidest thing ever. So, I mean, as much as obviously it's sad for her that she had it done, but still, it qualifies her to be the Wombat of the Week. There's just no way around it. This woman is the Wombat of the Week. And guess what? Your eyes look like crap. So this was not a good idea on any part at all. Not any part of this was a good idea. That's what I'm saying. And so... Alexandra's, I'm going to leave it as her first name, but it will be posted, but her first name is Alexandra. I'm sorry, you're the Wombat of the Week. And I think darker days, no pun intended, I think darker days are ahead for you. If you lose sight in the other eye, such a young woman that now has to learn how to be blind, which is not easy. She's put herself in a very bad place. And I think we can all take a lesson from this and say, don't let people stick needles in your eyes. Not for a tattoo, not for acupuncture, not for anything. It's absolutely insane and crazy. Don't do it. So, because of this, yes, this does qualify, and that she is the Wombat of the Week. And we'll make sure we post that story for you up on social media so you can see it and read it and share it, and the picture is just, I mean, absolutely. I just, even looking at the picture, nothing about looking at her eyes now says to me, ooh, I'm going to get that done. How would I look? Lovely Sharen, how would I look with the whites of my eyes done in black?
Absolutely not.
The gallery has spoken. So, there's your Wombat of the Week. Okay. So now with the Wombat of the Week out of the way, we do this other segment called Honor Thy Heroes, and it works similar in that we honor everyday heroes. They don't necessarily have to wear a badge or a cape or anything like that, or a fire hose or whatever, because there are everyday heroes everywhere, and so you can send your link of an everyday hero, maybe someone in your community paper, whatever. You can send that to us in the same fashion, joelmichalecradio@gmail.com, or through Facebook at JM Talk. And we'll get them on the air. We'll honor them. This week is a very personal sort of heroes, if I may, and I think I may. And I want to honor two friends of mine, because, for the last 5 weeks, my truck has been broken down. And we've been doing upgrades to this truck. We've been doing cosmetic upgrades to this truck for a while now. New stereo system inside, new rear lights, new headlights. Like, really, I mean, it's a 2003 Dodge Durango. So now it looks really good because of all these improvements we've been doing. New tires, all this stuff. And so actually a brake line that's broke, and about 5 weeks ago, and so it sat while we were trying to search for the possibility of having preformed brake lines for it. Which, get this, my body style, the Sport, is the only one in that year that doesn't have preformed brake lines. I don't understand it. And here's something else I don't understand. I've said it to so many people, and you're going to hear it too. Who came up with the idea in the auto industry that let's build a car with metal brake lines that that can corrode, rust, deteriorate, and possibly break, and yet are carrying brake fluid through the system to your brakes. Who came up with that idea? That we should make them out of something that corrodes, rusts, breaks, and could possibly kill everybody in the car. Who came up with that? I don't know why automobiles are not built and shipped with stainless steel brake lines. Anything that is important should not be able to corrode or rust. I just wanted to put that out there. But anyway, so over the past couple of weekends, and I mean all weekends, and this is the reason why we couldn't drop a podcast last week. This has been consuming the better part of the last 2 weeks to get this done, because the one broken brake line turned into 3 brake lines. We had to form them ourselves and do all that. And so I want to thank my 2 friends, Rich and Victor. And actually, Victor's more like a son-in-law. So son-in-law and friend, because they really went out of their way to help me get this done. And in fact, I would say they did the lion's share. Victor really did the lion's share, because he wouldn't let me, even though I kept getting up and down off the ground and I'm dead from it now, but he wouldn't let me do a lot of it. And I had the opportunity. He never did front brakes, so when everything was done and looked really pretty and we put it all back together and we were bleeding the brakes, would you know it, we get to the last tire and we had to replace the caliper because the bleeder valve would not come off. So these 2 guys, you know, that's like that's an everyday hero. A couple of guys going out of their way above and beyond to help me out, to help somebody out, and I'm forever grateful for their help. So I probably would not be able to move at all if not for Victor telling me to let him do this, let him do that. So if they're listening to this podcast, and I think they usually do, and if they don't, they'll be very surprised when they get around to listening to it, because these 2 fellas are being crowned the heroes on Honor Thy Heroes this week. That's a really big thing. That's a big deal to have those bragging rights for a week, you know? So, thank you guys for your help. Much appreciated. I'll get everybody their tools back as soon as possible, because that's another thing. It took tools from all 3 of us to make this all happen, and so our thanks to that. My thanks to that. And actually, the lovely Sharen thanks you too, because I didn't know, she's saying something about how I'm in a better mood now, and I didn't know I was in such a crappy mood. You know, she claims she had no problem taking me to and from work, you know, but maybe I was interrupting her soaps or something. I don't know. But she says I'm happier, and that's that. So thank you guys. You're my heroes of the week, and worthy of being the Honor Thy Heroes recipients for this week. I really appreciate it. So thank you. So remember, folks, email your stories in of people that go out of their way doing special things. And if you were the host of the show, you'd be able to do a personalized one, which I just did. So, okay, I got a couple minutes left, maybe a little more than a couple minutes. So I want to do this one last thing for you. Now, over the next couple of weeks, or maybe just here and there, maybe not every week, because I got a couple of them, and I can stretch them out and make them last. There's always a really great one last thing to talk about, and I actually have 2. Real quick, I do want to tell you that, hackers and people that are always trying to steal your identity and steal your money, they have found ways to duplicate websites, like geographical mapping data of the coronavirus. And they've made lookalike websites, and then they send you this bogus email getting you to click on that fake site. You get to the fake site, it drops malware into your system and starts stealing your data. So the interesting stat, the reason why I'm bringing this up real quick, is because it is reported that more than 50% of the website domain names with the that have anything to do with coronavirus are not legit sites. Think about that. More than 50% of all the registered domains that have something to do with coronavirus are not legit sites. So just exercise real good caution out there. Okay, so that was part one of One Last Thing. The other part of One Last Thing is this. So we have some ideas for where you might want to think about retiring to. And this week we want to talk to you about the Deep South. Just a couple bullet points to know about the Deep South. If you can retire to the Deep South, where you can rent a movie and buy bait at the same store. So you can do that in the Deep South. Y'all is singular and all y'all is plural in the Deep South. And you live deep South, right? Yeah. So she should be able to qualify some of this. He needed killing is a valid defense in the Deep South. Okay, so if you feel like you're going to get so mad at somebody that you might have a little bit of a slip-up, an actual defense down there is he needed killing. Everyone has two first names, Billy Bob, Jimmy Bob, Joe Bob, Betty Jean, Mary Beth, etc. That's how that works in the Deep South. May need to change your name. Everything is either in yonder, over yonder, or out yonder in the Deep South. Okay, and finally, if you retire to the Deep South, you'll be able to say anything about anyone as long as you say, bless his heart, at the end of the statement. So, I know it doesn't mean that, but what I'm saying is, if you move to the Deep South, as long as you say bless his heart, here she comes. Then you can... she's clearing her throat, too. She's going to explain it. Explain this.
Bless his heart in the Deep South actually means when they do something...
Stupid.
Super stupid.
Or super silly.
Or, they say, bless his heart.
Yeah.
Meaning he's an idiot.
Right? He belongs on the wombat. Oh, look at him playing with that wasp nest. Bless his heart. Something like that.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that's going to bring the show to a crashing halt. Thank you to lovely Sharen for stopping in. Supposed to be making my tenders. Bless your heart, baby. Anyway, remember to stop by the website, www.jmtalk.net. That's the home. That's where you can subscribe to the show. And please do so. And if you like it, share it and write us a review. Stop by our Facebook at JM Talk or Twitter and Instagram at JM Talk Radio. And other than that, we'll see you again next week when we drop a new episode of the show. And when you're out and about, remember what I've been saying, other than pick up 3 pieces of trash. Also remember, it costs you nothing to be a decent human being. Don't text and drive, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.